Hi everybody, welcome back to the Introduction to Climate Change course. In this lesson we're going to continue our discussion on the effects of climate change by exploring the effects of rising temperatures and emission of carbon dioxide on the oceans. So in this lesson we're going to cover rising ocean temperatures, heat absorption, and rising sea levels. And so to start with heat absorption, according to the Natural Center for Environmental Information, 90% of all the heat increase due to climate change has been absorbed by the ocean. So that means that if not for the ocean, the increase of heat due to climate change would be twice as large as it is right now. And that's huge, really. So that goes to show how powerful the ocean is. And how does this happen? Well, the ocean absorbs the heat from the sun, and that causes its temperature to go up. And what happens when the temperature of the ocean rises is, just like in any ecosystem, as the abiotic factors change, the life changes as well. So this means that it's different. It's harder for a marine life to adapt, and that's due to factors such as like a change in the conditions, which means that it changes kind of like how life needs to adapt. And you see this also happening in the land ecosystems. And this also means like that it can affect the weather patterns, which are huge, really, for life, like when it rains and how wet it gets, how dry it gets. And overall, it's disrupting marine life and also life on land too, because of food supplies and things like weather. And next we can talk about ocean acidification. So to talk about ocean acidification, well, first we need to talk about what it means to be acidic. So acidic is a way to describe substances on the pH scale. One example of an acidic substance is carbonic acid, and that's what you get when you mix water and carbon dioxide. And that's what happens when the ocean absorbs carbon dioxide. Now, that carbonic acid is much more acidic than the ocean water is, salt water is, on the pH scale, because normally ocean water will sit around 8 pH. So it is slightly basic, which means it's salty, right? And what happens is, as water mixes with carbon dioxide and excess amounts of carbon dioxide, this throws off the acidity, or it throws off the pH of the ocean by making it more acidic. And that's not good, because although it's not being pushed all the way to become an acid, it is becoming less basic. And as you know by now, I'm sure, when you change one factor of a abiotic factor or a factor of temperature, weather, or otherwise different conditions for life, what happens is you get a lot of adverse effects. And one of those adverse effects is when carbonic acid combines with carbonate. Now, the carbonate is what sea life, such as crabs and coral reefs, use for their shells. And so they absorb carbonate from the water, and it actually helps their shells grow strong. And so what happens when it mixes with carbonic acid is it creates a reaction to form bicarbonate. And so what that means is that all this supply of carbonate is being distributed all to form bicarbonate, and it's not being just used to make the shells stronger. So a lot less is going to the shells, and a lot more is now going to make bicarbonate. And so it is essentially kind of stealing the carbonate in the ocean by turning it from using it to protect marine life and build shells. It's kind of just forming bicarbonate in the ocean. And so there's a shorter supply of carbonate. And as we have learned with food chains, when you have, for example, less coral reefs, you also have less fish because that's their shelter and a lot of their food sources. Without small fish, you can't have bigger fish, and you can't go up that food chain because it'll all kind of fall down from the bottom. And so this is really bad news. And then another set of bad news would be sea level rise. And you can't really talk about sea level rise or melting glaciers without talking about polar bears, because they're probably the most well known. So we know that polar bears live on icy places, kind of like this, these pictures that show, vast patches of ice and snow. And as temperatures rise and those melt, polar bears are dealing with less shelter and less food. And this is not good, because what happens with less shelter and less food is that it's harder to survive. These are extremely important things for a species to survive. And that's why polar bear populations are are endangered, and the outlook for them is not very good unless something happens to dramatically decrease the rate at which ice is melting. And now we can talk a little bit about how sea level rise and melting ice is affecting humans. So this is going to be a hands-on activity where we cover what happens when a little community of houses is affected by a glacier melting. So to start off, you want to have a little Tupperware, something that won't let water out, and you can fill it up with some soil, and you can also use some houses to represent, civilization or people. It can represent a city, a town, anything you like. And then what you want to do is you want to grab a little, some water and some ice, and first, also, I just want to make clear that fake houses or 3D houses or anything you like can be used there. Your artistic skills aren't very important for this, so you can just get as creative as you want. But next, you want to get a cup of ice and a cup of water. And what you do with the cup of water is we're going to pour it into that little hole that I made, and that'll be the river. So that right there is where the sea level is starting. And right now the sea level is not affecting the houses because the sea level is under where the houses are at. And next, what we want to do is build the glacier that is going to be across from them. And so you just want to stack some ice cubes up, and you want to just keep stacking, and it's okay if some of them fall into the river because, as we know, there's ice and water mixing in the real world all the time. And now we have our glacier, and what we're going to simulate is an increase in temperature that causes the ice to melt. And as this melts, you're going to see the water seeping in to the town and kind of just raising the sea level. And you can see that after leaving it out in the sun for a while, it's gone so far up that it's almost completely flooded the houses, right? Like they're barely poking out of the water now. And so it's a little hard to see because this is soil, but the sea level has risen a lot. And if we want to go look back to where the sea level was at before, if there was no river, the sea level would be way lower. Now with the river, the sea level is closer, but it would be in a safe distance from the houses. And now if we look over here, the sea level is so high that it's actually pretty much at the roof of these houses. So you obviously can't live there. And if this was a city, that would cause a lot of damage. That would be a lot of problems. And not only would a lot of people be, kicked out of their homes because of this, this would also mean a lot of money in repairs for the city or state to pay for. So I hope you guys are beginning to understand the big consequences of climate change and what happens when temperatures and levels of carbon dioxide keep rising in the atmosphere. And in the next lesson, we are going to talk a little more about possible solutions for this. So we want to keep in mind the number one reason that climate change's effects are a ripple, and it's because ecosystems on the planet are delicately balanced. So when you change one thing, you're changing everything in the whole system. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.